Hi there, Brian Russell here, BRD Associates, photographer and videographer. Thank you for finding my video blog. I hope you find this of interest. I'm going to be talking on various subjects from my experience as a professional photographer of getting on for 30 years, covering everything from portraits to events, weddings, corporate events, and anything from case study work right through to annual report photography. Straight ahead, let's start on the first subject and let's go for portrait photography. So, portrait photography we can split basically into two different areas. We have either commercial portrait photography and photography for the social portrait, which varies into social media as well as the sort of portrait you might hang on your wall. We'll start with commercial portrait photography. This may be being organised by the company you work for, or it may be the responsibility of yourself running your own company or as a marketing department for your company. It's very interesting to note that when we're talking about corporate photography, we've got to be considering where these images are likely to be used, what will be the importance of the character you're trying to show of the business, and are you trying to show a professionalism or the characters of the staff of your company. Having done portrait photography from everyone from very large corporates, you know, in the banking and financial industries, right the way through to industrial portraits and what have you, it very much can be a case that the marketing department will set the theme. So it might be a corporate colour, it might be a corporate background, it might be a theme that is always used. It might be that your company always shoots portraits of people in their own working environment, so it actually says something about the job they do. The most important thing is bear in mind that this image is going to be your visual representation. When the client potentially opens up the website, that image that they may have picked of you is going to be something that people will assess. Everyone, whether you like it or not, will look at that picture and will say, I know something about this character. Your image will say what you are, what you represent, what you stand for, in that person's mind. It happens that people make snap decisions on what they see, and that is the nature of life and human beings. So if you're going to have a corporate stills photography session and you've been given a designated time, what do you need to know? You need to know, first of all, what sort of portrait has been selected for your company. Does your company always have all of the people photographed suited and booted, or is it always dressed down? Is it a case that you're going to be used on a corporate background, in which case you need to know what that corporate background is so that you can wear suitable attire, so that, you know, for example, if it's an all red background because that's the company colour, you don't want to be turning up in a red dress. Or maybe if you're a chap and it's decided that we all wear suits, then maybe the red tie needs to go on to match the corporate background. So do your research before you're going to have your photography taken on the corporate side. You may not be able to control the background and the style of the photography being done, but you can control how you present yourself related to that background. Now, a lot of people are very uncomfortable when it comes to having their portrait taken. Something very strange happens as soon as you point a camera at people. Some of the most confident people who you meet face to face over a table and can sit there and converse for hours on end will freeze. Something about the camera that just does that to people. If the professional photographer the other side of the table, the other side of the camera is any good, they should be able to relax you. But there are some things you can do as a portrait sitter to make that the least painful experience possible. First of all, freezing is something that happens when there's no conversation, no communication going on between the photographer and yourself. So if you've got an amateur the other side of the camera, it's very likely that they're not going to have much of a conversation to bring you out of your shell and relaxed. If that's the case, if they've decided to use Fred out of the marketing department because he knows how to use a digital camera, harder for you, but what you need to do is make sure you can start conversing with Fred and getting yourself relaxed. Smiling is something that always helps. If you can smile at a camera, you will come across as a more friendly person. There's no denying a smiling face works, providing that smiling face is a real one. Now, so many young ladies I photograph have hang-ups about either their teeth or their smile or their gums, and this can be the most beautiful young lady you've ever seen. Well, all of a sudden, when it comes to posing for a photo and you're chatting away and you say, okay, well, give us a little smile, something like that, and they'll go, and you go, oh, that's not a smile, stop it, this is not real. They try and smile without moving, opening their mouth. Now, a smile, when it comes, is real. It comes in and opens the mouth. It doesn't necessarily open the mouth to show large amounts of teeth or large amounts of gums, but just because you mentally don't like showing those, don't stop yourself from smiling, because the end result is worse, okay? So, let it go, be natural, try and let a smile go when one comes to you naturally, okay? It's all very, very important to do that. And a smile will come from the eyes as well. If you really are having trouble relating to the photographer the other side of the camera, don't try so hard to force a smile, but try and smile with your eyes. You can do that by just thinking about something silly. I mean, I'm doing it all the time. I always think of silly things, and it makes one smile from the eyes. So just try and get that. The end result ends up with a Mona Lisa smile. It may not work for the whole of the face, but it can work in a situation where you can't get a reasonable sort of smile. You may be wanting not to produce a friendly image. You may be wanting to produce an image that says, look at me, I'm of dignified and high status, and therefore you might be wanting to position yourself in a physical stance that's not quite so friendly. Bear in mind that in all good sales techniques, they will always tell you that leaning towards the camera, getting involved with the person, is very much more into relation, as opposed to this, which is, don't talk to me, I don't want to know. Now, both those actions that actually work in the physical world also work on a stills photography picture. So, if you are a person that wants to relate to people, then try and get that image across by leaning into the camera. Whether it be you might be 45 degrees left or 45 degrees to your right. You lean into the camera, you're more involved with the image. You're more involved with the viewer. Now, when you're having your picture taken, make sure you get a good selection of left and right profiles. You may prefer personally one or t'other yourself, but depending on where these pictures are being used, maybe on a leaflet and you're being used where the picture will be up on the top left hand side of the page, then you need to be looking into the page so that where the text comes down, it looks like you're relating to it. So be very aware that you need to get a full coverage along that line. Get a lot of people that are concerned when they get a little older. Oh, I'm getting a bit fat. Oh, I've got two chins, that sort of thing. Again, that can produce some very strange pictures. I've had people who've stood in front of me and gone like this and like that, and it just looks so daft because it's not real. A very good way of solving this problem is to make sure that your body is angled like this. If you really are concerned about your neck, lean on something. Lean into the camera, making sure that you pull the back of your jacket down so that it's still smooth if you happen to have something of that nature. And lean in 45 degrees, turn the neck just a little bit this way. This will pull the neck really down firm. Just little techniques that may help you. So that's portrait photography, commercial side of things, and I think that will do for this first blog, or this blog I should say, and look forward to seeing you again next time I'm talking. Have a good day now.